My boyfriend insulted my pale skin, making me feel embarrassed and hurt, but I eventually realized I deserved better and ended the relationship. Growing up, I always felt like the odd one out. In my hometown, almost everyone had this beautiful, sun-kissed glow. People tend effortlessly, and it seemed like they all just belonged in some glossy magazine, but not me. My skin was stubbornly pale. The only time I'd ever get any color was when I turned bright red from a sunburn, which would then fade away, leaving me as pale as ever. I avoided the sunburns anyway, knowing the risks of skin cancer. So, I got used to my pale skin, even though I often felt like a white rat compared to my friends. My hair was light too, adding to the washed-out look. It was something I just had to live with, though it often embarrassed me. Despite these insecurities, I tried to focus on other things. Then, I moved to the United States for school. It was a big change. My parents thought it would be a great opportunity for me to experience a new culture, expand my horizons, and grow. I wasn't thrilled about the move and struggled to adjust. The culture was different, people were different, and I often felt out of place. My accent was a source of amusement for some, and I didn't really connect with most of my new teammates. But amidst all this, I met my boyfriend. We hit it off, and for 9 months, he was my anchor in this new, confusing place. I thought he accepted me for who I was, pale skin and all. That's why his words during a casual movie night hit me so hard. One evening, we were watching a movie in my room. It was supposed to be a relaxed, fun time. I don't even remember what we were watching. At some point, he tried to pull my shirt down. I immediately told him to stop and pushed his hand away. I didn't like that sort of thing. It made me uncomfortable. But he just rolled his eyes and did it again. I was firm, telling him again to stop, and that it wasn't funny. Then he said something that left me speechless. I don't care. It's like touching a dead corpse. His words felt like a punch to the gut. I asked him what he meant, trying to understand. He elaborated, saying my skin was so pale and cold. It was gross. He even threw in a jab about how I must have missed out on all the pretty genes from my country. I was stunned and hurt. I couldn't believe he would say something so mean. I told him if he didn't like it, he could leave. He did, and I was left feeling a mix of embarrassment and confusion. After the incident, I felt so embarrassed and uncomfortable. I didn't know how to process what had happened or how to feel about it. So, I turned to my friends back home. They had always been supportive, and I needed their perspective. When I told them what my boyfriend had said, they were outraged. They said he was being a jerk, and that I shouldn't waste my time with someone who could say such hurtful things. They pointed out that my skin wasn't something to be ashamed of, and that he had no right to make me feel bad about it. Their support was reassuring, but I was still confused. I couldn't shake off the embarrassment and the sting of his words. I started to doubt myself and wondered if maybe he was right. Was my pale skin really that gross? Was I overreacting? Over the next few days, I couldn't stop thinking about what had happened. I replayed the scene in my head, analyzing every detail. I felt a mix of emotions, hurt, anger, embarrassment, and confusion. It was overwhelming. I started to realize that my boyfriend's comment wasn't just a careless remark. It was a sign of disrespect and a lack of understanding. He didn't care about my feelings or my boundaries. He dismissed my discomfort and made me feel bad about something I couldn't control. This realization was painful, but it also brought clarity. I began to see that I deserved better. I deserved someone who would respect me, accept me for who I am, and make me feel good about myself. My pale skin wasn't the problem, his attitude was. With this new perspective, I decided to talk to my boyfriend. I needed to confront him about how his words had affected me and see if there was any hope for our relationship. When we met, I told him how hurtful his comment had been and how it made me feel. I explained that I didn't appreciate being disrespected and that my boundaries needed to be respected. He seemed surprised at first, but then he got defensive. He said he was just joking and that I was overreacting. His response was disappointing, but not surprising. It confirmed what I had started to realize. He wasn't willing to understand or change. So, I made the difficult decision to end the relationship. It wasn't easy, but I knew it was the right thing to do for my own well-being. Breaking up with him was a relief. It felt like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. I was still pale and my skin still got cold, but I started to see these things differently. They were just parts of me, not flaws. I focused on the positives and surrounded myself with supportive friends who appreciated me for who I was. Moving forward, I promised myself that I would never let anyone make me feel bad about myself again. I deserve to be treated with kindness and respect, and I wouldn't settle for anything less. My boyfriend doesn't want to sleep with me because he's unattracted to me. What should I do besides lose weight? I am a 24-year-old woman in a relationship with a 29-year-old man. Over the past 10 months, I've gained about 10 to 13 pounds due to changes in my birth control, adopting my boyfriend's eating habits, and other lifestyle factors. I am an athlete, so I'm used to managing my weight and cutting when necessary. However, the past few months have been challenging, especially with financial constraints limiting my access to additional fitness resources like a sauna, though I have a lot of workout equipment at home. Recently, my boyfriend admitted that he doesn't initiate sex because he's not attracted to my body. This was a hard pill to swallow. I have some cellulite on my legs, and being 5'3", any weight gain is noticeable on my frame. I usually wear a size small or medium top and a size 4 to 6 in women's pants. Despite working out and dieting for 2 months, this revelation has really shaken my confidence. I remember when we first met, I weighed around 124 pounds for a competition, but I usually sit comfortably at 130 to 135 pounds. Now, I'm at 139 pounds, and it's disheartening to think that gaining just 10 pounds could have such an impact on our intimacy. This whole situation has made me feel less valued in my relationship. It's hard to understand how gaining a bit of weight could make my boyfriend stop wanting to be intimate with me. I've always been the one to initiate sex, give him oral, and make sure he's pleasured, yet he rarely reciprocates. It's not just about the physical aspect, it's about feeling loved and desired by your partner. When he finally confessed his feelings, he tried to soften the blow by saying it wasn't about wanting me to be a certain way, but rather his expectations for himself. He also mentioned that if he wasn't attracted to me at all, we wouldn't have sex, and he wouldn't even be able to get aroused. Still, his words hurt, and I can't help but feel inadequate. I've been dedicated to reaching my fitness goals, but now it feels like I'm doing it for the wrong reasons. Instead of focusing on my health and well-being, I'm caught up in trying to regain his attraction. The pressure is immense, and it's making me question my worth and the stability of our relationship. Despite everything, I don't want to lose him. I'd prefer to talk through our issues and help him understand my perspective. But right now, I'm at a loss for words. I've always believed that love should go beyond physical appearances, and it's painful to think that my weight is a barrier to our intimacy. I've been feeling this way for a while, and his recent comments have only deepened my insecurities. I want to continue working out and hitting my goals, but I also want to feel valued and loved for who I am, not just how I look. This situation has made me realize the importance of communication and understanding in a relationship. I'm hoping that by sharing my story, others might relate and find some solace in knowing they're not alone. It's crucial to have open conversations about such sensitive topics and work together to find a resolution. Whether it's through more understanding, empathy, or even seeking professional help, I believe there's a way forward. For now, I'm focusing on my health and trying to rebuild my confidence, one step at a time. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more news stories.